Brilliant. Well, I'd like to welcome you to the first module, which is called Super Achievers. Now, it's very important. There's only one person who doesn't believe you're a super achiever. You know who that person is? Yep, that person's you. It's the person who stares back at you from the mirror every morning as you shave or you put in your makeup in the morning. That's the person who doubts you the most. Now, that's my challenge to you is I want you to start believing that success is not only possible or probable, but it's absolutely certain if you follow these few simple little rules that I'm going to try and share with you. The first thing you need to do, tough, but the first thing you need to do is you need to accept 100% responsibility for everything in your life. Very hard. You know, we find it hard. You know, we sort of stand around and we go, well, what about that car accident I had? I mean, how could that possibly be my responsibility? Or, for example, there was a right-sizing exercise at my work, and how could I possibly be responsible for that? Well, you need to accept responsibility, but let me try and use some language that's maybe easier for you to accept. Instead of taking responsibility, how about you accept that you take charge of your life? And by taking charge, I mean accept that if you want things to change, there's only one person out there that's going to do it for you, and that's you. So when you accept 100% responsibility, or said differently, you finally take charge of your life, what you're effectively doing is you're accepting that you can change things. Because when you accept you can change things, what you're really saying is if you follow this plan that I'm going to be sharing with you, it empowers you. It empowers you to make some positive changes. And those positive changes that I'm talking about are simple, but this is the part that's tough. Is all of the stuff's simple to do, but it's not easy. And by not easy, I mean you've got to do some stuff. You've actually got to take some positive actions. But what positive actions? Well, that's what I'm going to help you to do over time. Is I'm going to help you to take the right positive actions. So the first thing that I want you to explore and to try to understand is to accept that you've got some amazing gifts. The first gift that you have is what I like to call your internal Google search engine, or your reticular activating system. It's just a fancy name. We can refer to it as your RAS as we go on. Your RAS is basically, it's a neural net of nerves just at the base of your spine. And what it does is it basically filters out all the stuff that you don't need and only delivers the stuff to your brain that you do. Let me give you an example. Our brains or our bodies are bombarded with billions of bits of information per second. And I mean, if your brain had to try and process all of that stuff, you'd go insane, right? So in order to keep you sane and to allow your brain to do what it needs to do, what your reticular activating system does is it filters out about 2,000 bits of information per second so that your brain can process that successfully. Now, let's put that into perspective. What programs your reticular activating system? I mean, what is it actually, or how does it actually work? It's actually a lot simpler than you think. Your reticular activating system basically gives you the things that you focus on. So let's say, for example, you decide to buy a new motor car. The moment you make the choice and you go, well, hell, I'd like to buy myself a 5 Series BMW. It's like magic. All of a sudden, everywhere you look, it just seems like everybody's bought 5 Series BMWs. When in reality, what's really happened is your reticular activating system is filtering out everything else and only focusing on that specific brand of car. So the question you want to be asking is should you be allowing circumstances to program your reticular activating system? Or should you take control and actually say, well, hang on a second, I'm in charge of my life. I'm going to program my reticular activating system. Well, the question you want to ask is How? Well, the first thing you need to do is you need to be crystal clear. You need to be able to look into the future. In other words, use your gift of imagination, right? Because that's your second gift. Your second gift is the ability to stand here today, to project yourself into the future and visualize absolutely any picture of possibility. Think about it. What can't you imagine? Well, nothing. So allow yourself to stand today and to project yourself into the future and say, what I want to have, what I want to do, what I want to be, what is possible for me to achieve. And then bring that picture of possibility. In other words, pack yourself a suitcase filled with all those marvelous ideas, all those pictures of possibility, all those things that you could achieve, all those things that you'd love to achieve in the future. Bring those things back to today. Unpack that suitcase and go, okay, so well, I'd like a bit of this, oh, that's a bit cool, maybe not so much of that, but allow your mind to be free, allow your mind to really travel and explore, and even allow yourself to be a bit ridiculous. But the way you program your reticular activating system is when you bring all those ideas back to the present. You unpack them, and then you create a crystal clear picture of possibility. A crystal clear picture of possibility that you write down, that you record, that you program your mind to start searching for. And the next thing, we have an amazing third gift, which is called our cognitive ability to build a plan from where we are to where we want to go in the future. Now, that's literally a blueprint, right? So what you do is you have a look at what is it that you want, and then you sit back and you say, okay, so to get there, what do I need to do? In other words, what plans, what goals, what projects do I need to undertake, right down to what actions do I need to take on a daily basis? And that is going to program your reticular activating system to focus on, to filter out, and to deliver to you the resources, the people, everything that you need to achieve that picture of possibility. So effectively what you've done is you've created a vision for the future. You've converted that vision or picture of possibility into goals, projects, actions that you're going to take. And those goals, projects, actions, and your vision have programmed your reticular activating system or your internal Google search engine to search for all the resources, the people, everything that you need to achieve the success that you want. So realistically, the only reason we have those gifts is to help us to become an incredible creator. So yes, you are a creator. You are a creator of your future, a creator of the most incredible picture of possibility in the future. So how do we get past this? So what's holding you back? I mean, it sounds pretty simple, right? You just need to use your gift of imagination, project yourself into the future. You need to use your ability to create a blueprint. Find out what actions you need to take on a daily basis, and then you just need to do it, right? So what's holding you back? Well, one of the biggest challenges we have is our need for instant gratification. Now think about it. Yes, of course, you need to take action every day, but remember, for every action that you're going to take, for every positive action you're going to take, you've got to make some kind of sacrifice, right? So you've got to sacrifice something. You've got to give up some TV, you've got to give up some entertainment, you've got to give up some socializing. So you've got to move and change and focus on doing something. But our challenge is we avoid pain and we move towards pleasure. So it's a whole lot easier to go and watch TV for an hour than it is to get off your butt and to actually go and do something. In other words, go and take goal-specific action. That takes sacrifice. So the first thing you've got to focus on is you've got to say to yourself, right, I've got to focus on my picture of possibility in the future. I've got to focus on taking those actions, and I've got to learn how to delay my gratification. So don't go watch TV, don't go socialize, don't go hang out with your mates. I'm not saying don't do it at all, but I'm saying take a little bit of time from TV, from entertainment, etc., and put it into probably the most important thing you'll ever do in your life, which is achieve your goals. So avoid instant gratification. Right, and the next thing, right? So once you've avoided that instant gratification, the next thing I want you to be aware of is fear. Do you know, a lot of us hold ourselves away from success, not because we fear failure so much, but because we fear success. So what I want you to do is I want you to really focus and start to get a deep-rooted belief that you want to be successful, but stop sabotaging your success. Stop standing in your own way. Believe you can have it. You know, it sounds so crazy, but right from when we were kids, we were programmed with stuff like people with money, or should I rather say money is the root of all evil. I mean, come on, I don't want to be evil, so subconsciously, my subconscious mind kind of stops me from doing the stuff that I need to do to build financial wealth. So explore your fears, explore those deep-rooted beliefs that you hold about wealth, about health, about success, about relationships. I mean, are you sabotaging yourself from having the most amazing relationship because you had a bad experience before? Are you sabotaging yourself from becoming financially successful because you believe that money is the root of all evil? Are you stopping yourself from becoming healthy because of some childhood fear that you've got? So you need to go and explore, go dig deep and go and figure out what is it that's holding you away from success. What are your fears? What is it? What is it that's holding you away from success? And once you've had a look and you've explored and you've figured out, okay, so what could be stopping me? The next thing you need to do is you need to clarify, what does success look like for you? Now that sounds crazy. Oh, of course I know what success looks like for me. I've got to have a lot of money, be living in a big house. Really? You see, success for different people is different things. You see, who's to say a mother that is an incredible mom who takes care of her kids and is a great provider and she's the most amazing mother that you could imagine? Who's to say she's less successful than someone who's made a lot of money? You see, her values are her family. Explore your values. You see, if you believe, and you see, this is how society's programmed us. Society's programmed us to believe that success is money. Success is financial wealth. Look, let's put it this way. I've tried it both ways. I've tried it without money and I've tried it with money. It's a lot easier with money. Money gives you choices. But if you're pursuing financial wealth at the expense of your family, and your family is actually your top priority, you're going to sabotage your success at every turn, right? So the secret to be successful is to say, what does success mean to me? What does it look like? What do I have? What am I doing? What am I being? And once you can tie that down and you can figure out what success really means to you, then you wake up every day, the actions you take are inspired actions. The actions you take will never be sabotaged because you are doing things that are moving you in the direction that matters to you. And that's the secret. So go and invest some time. You know, we think we can take shortcuts. Okay, let's jump in. Let's go and look at our vision. Let's build goals. Let's just get going. The reality is, there is no shortcut to this. Remember I said to you, the process is simple, but it's not easy. So do me a favor, don't take shortcuts. When you take shortcuts, especially when it comes down to deciding what does success mean to you, because once you can define what success means to you, that's where you can move on to the next part. The next most crucial part is, when you know what success means, in other words, what do you want to have, do, and be? What matters to you? What do you value? Do you value family? Do you value financial wealth? Do you value a great career? Do you value amazing health? Do you want to have an incredible body? is it that you really value? Because once you know that, you know what success looks like for you. So in other words, what you're going to build is going to be inspirational. It's going to be something that's going to light the fire of inspiration in your belly, and it's going to make you get up and take action every day. It's not going to, see, if you try and build something that's not aligned with what success looks like to you, you're going to sabotage your own actions. You're going to stand in your own way all the time. So once you know this, and you know what success looks like, the next thing you have to answer is, what is my passion? What wakes me up? What is it excites you? If you had to sit and think, okay, so what do I like doing? What do I love doing more of? And what do I want to do less of? You see, what you're looking for, we refer to it as your true life purpose, but it sounds, when we define it as your true life purpose, you start thinking stuff like, there's got to be some kind of drum roll that goes off. There's got to be some kind of huge moment in my life, like, wow, this is my life purpose. It's got to be huge. The reality is, look, listen to your own emotions, right? There's certain emotions or certain actions that make us feel good about ourselves. So when we take certain actions, when we do certain things, our emotions allow us to feel good. But then there's other things we do. In other words, things we hate doing that have negative emotions associated with it. So things that are aligned with your true life purpose, or can I rather say your true life passion, because it's passion, it relates to emotions. Things that are related to your true life purpose or true life passion, those are things that make you feel good. So when you're looking at discovering what your true life purpose is, right? Your true life purpose is defined by what makes you feel good. So what does success mean? That's the first part. The second part is, okay, so if that's what success looks like, what do I need to do that makes me feel good? In other words, what is my true life passion or purpose? And once I've got those first few things in place, the next step becomes a whole lot easier, right? Because then we can start answering the question. We can start utilizing my wealth plan. Now, what the heck is a wealth plan? I mean, surely a wealth plan sounds like something that you're going to use to go and make money, right? Yeah, you can. But the reason I used the acronym WEALTH was you can have a wealth of health, you can have a wealth of success, you can have a wealth of money, you can have a wealth of great relationships, so you can have a wealth of all sorts of things. So in other words, my wealth plan is something that you can point at anything. Let's say, for example, you want to go and achieve your sales target, right? Well, achieving your sales target, you take the wealth plan, woof, you focus on it. You want to improve your health, focus the wealth plan on it. Well, maybe you want to grow your financial wealth, focus the wealth plan on it. So where did this wealth plan come from? Well, over the last sort of 8 or 9 years, I've interviewed over 98 super achievers. Now, these 98 super achievers, I've asked them a whole lot of questions, and I've tried to uncover what is it they do? What is it that separates these super achievers from average people? Because not one of them were born with a silver spoon in their mouth. I don't believe they're cleverer than you. I don't believe they're better looking, healthier. They are you. They were born with exactly the same potential and opportunity as you were. The only thing they've done different is the way they've approached their success. They've done things, right? Now imagine, let's think about it. Let's really be silly now, right now, okay? Imagine if I want to bake a chocolate chip cookie. What do I need to do? Well, if I can read and I've got a recipe, right? If I've got a recipe, I've got the ingredients, and I've got the oven to bake it in, I can bake a chocolate chip cookie, right? The first time I'll bake the chocolate chip cookie, it might not be as good as someone else's, but once I've done it again and again, and the 30th and the 40th and the 50th time, I'm going to get better and better and better at baking cookies, right? The same thing's true about your sales target, right? If you know what to do every single day, in other words, you have a recipe for your sales success, and you implement and you take action on that every day, will you achieve your sales target? Of course, right? So let's explore the wealth plan, right? So the wealth plan, it's WEALTH. The W stands for write your vision down. Now, why the heck would you need to write your vision down, right? Well, hang on. Let's go right back to remember I told you about your reticular activating system, right? Your reticular activating system is a way of filtering out all the stuff you don't want and filtering and delivering exactly the resources, the people, everything that you need to achieve the success that you want. Now ask yourself this question. What is your vision for the future? Now let me tell you, what amazed me when I interviewed all those super achievers, the thing that stood out for me the most when you asked them the question, what is your vision? Their eyes darted up to the right. And they had a story. They had a passionate story. There were pictures. They painted crystal clear pictures of possibility of what they wanted in the future. They had direction. They had an absolute focused path that they were going to travel towards the picture of possibility that they saw in the future. I want you to do a little thing. Go and ask your spouse, your colleague at work, and say to them, what is your vision for the future? Their eyes are going to dart down to the left. They're going to try and imagine something. They're going to try and figure out something because they don't have a direction, a focused way that they're going to be going, right? Remember the super achievers, eyes darted up to the right. They were looking to where they had imagined and built this picture, and they were pulling these pictures, these absolute pictures, these fantastic pictures that they could focus on for their future success. You see, imagine you come to your driveway in the morning. You don't know where you're going. Do you go left? Do you go right? Do you go straight? Or my all-time favorite, guys, do you just go back to bed? Because what's the point if you don't have direction? But when you have a crystal clear, written down vision about what you want in the future, it gives you absolute focus and crystal clear determination every single day when you wake up. It helps you light that fire of inspiration. It directs your activities and it gives you absolute direction every single day. So when you invest the time and there's a carefully laid out process that you're going to go through, follow every single step, answer every single question, and slowly but surely pull out your vision. Become as crystal clear as you possibly can. I mean, if you dream about having a holiday home at the coast, the clear picture. Smell the sea breeze coming in. Feel the wind blow across your skin. Walk through the house, bump your arm into the fireplace. The more you can feel, you see, remember it's about emotion. Because what do we want? We want to align our vision with our true life, passion or purpose. And our true life, passion and purpose is directed by our emotions. The more clear your picture of possibility, the more clear and vivid your vision is, the easier it is to associate as many emotions, feelings, senses as possible, because the more senses you can focus on what you want to achieve in the future, the easier it actually becomes. So that's the W. Then we're going to go for the E, right? So the E says expand your vision. So how do you expand your vision? So right, we've got a vision, which is a picture of possibility. It's a direction we're going to be going in. Now remember, an aeroplane takes off from Johannesburg International Airport and flies to Cape Town. But do you know that 80% of the time it's off course? So how does it get to Cape Town? Well, it's in-course corrections, right? It constantly makes in-course corrections. It knows the direction, so that's its vision. Its direction is Cape Town. But, you know, as it goes, it flies off course. 80% of the time it's off course, but it lands up in Cape Town. And that's what you need to do, right? Is you need to have a direction. Once you've got a direction, you now say, well, I need to expand my vision. Well, how do I expand my vision? The way you do that is you now draw up a set of goals. What are goals? Goals are just dreams that you've put down, you've defined them, you've clarified them, and you've time defined them. In other words, a goal is just a dream with an end date. So you know when you need to achieve it. So why do you need an end date? Well, think about it. If there's no end, if you don't have an end in mind, you'll just go ahead and there'll be no reason to get up. There'll be no reason to take action. And more importantly, you won't be able to measure your activities, right? Are the activities you're taking on a daily basis delivering the outcomes you want? Well, I don't know, because I'm not sure when I need to finish, right? So your goals need to be time defined. But the challenge is, well, we got all these goals, right? They seem big and huge and unachievable. So how the heck do I do it? Well, the simple answer is you break them back, right? How do you eat an elephant? Well, they say one bite at a time, right? So if you can eat an elephant one bite at a time, you can achieve any goal, no matter how huge it is, if you break it back into bite-sized chunks, or should I rather say into projects, right? So you've got your big goals, your big audacious goals. And remember, when you're creating goals, be optimistic. You'll never exceed your own expectations, right? So if you have small expectations, you'll achieve small things. So have huge expectations. As Anthony Robbins says, people underestimate all they can achieve in a decade and overestimate all they can achieve in a year. So what generally happens is we set ourselves goals for a year, and then what do? We don't achieve them, so we lose, we become disheartened. So what I'm saying is take a longer term view. Look into the future, take a 10-year view and say, right, what do I believe I can achieve in 10 years? And then realistically break those back into 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 year goals. Break those goals back into projects. In other words, projects, things you can start to do, things that become small and achievable. I mean, let's just use an example. Let's say, for example, our vision. I have a tree blocking out the sun in my front yard. My vision is to have the sun shine onto my patio. So that's my vision. So my goal would be, I need to remove that tree so that the sun can shine through, right? So the goal is huge. You've got to go, oh, that's a big thing. Remove the tree, right? So what do? We break it back into projects. Projects are, okay, so what I need to do is I need to get a saw. I need to take the saw. I need to start sawing the top branches. I need to remove those branches. I then need to saw further and further down. Eventually, the trunk will be gone. So those are the projects. What do I need to physically do? In other words, that's the next step. So goals, huge expectations, long term, think 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10-year goals. Then you want to break them back into projects. These are small things that you can easily achieve. And then once you've got your projects, the next step is to say, okay, so what do I need to do on a daily basis? So let's say, for example, I need to cut the top trees off, or the top branches off the tree. What do I need to do? Well, let's explore the actions that I need to take, right? So I need to go to the garage, I need to get the saw, I need to put the ladder against the tree, I need to climb up the ladder and begin to cut the branches, right? So as I'm taking those actions, if I keep taking those actions, will I eventually cut the tree down? Of course. But you see, what you need to add to that is how do I know that the actions I'm taking are delivering the outcomes that I want, right? Because remember, my goals are time defined. So I have said, I would like, my vision is to bring sunlight into my garden. My goal is to remove the trees so that the sunlight will come into the garden, right? But I want to do that. I've got 1 week in which to do it. So in order to do that, I need to have some sort of measurement criteria in place to evaluate if the actions that I'm taking are delivering the results that I want. So I calculated that I need to cut down a branch every 3 minutes, right? So there I go, cutting down the branch. It's taking me 4 minutes. Okay, so what do I maybe need to do? Okay, maybe I'm using a handsaw. Maybe I need to get an electric saw. That'll help me to do things more faster, quicker, more efficiently, right? Let's have a look at a salesperson as an example, right? You need to have a look at your sales target, right? Your sales target's a goal. So you need to break your goal back into projects. What are the projects? Well, the projects could possibly be 1 week I have to sell, let's say my annual target is 12,000 Rand, my monthly target is 1,000 Rand, my weekly target is 250 Rand, my daily target is 250 divided by 5, which is 50 Rand. So now think about this. If I've got to sell 50 Rand every day, when I get to the end of day 1, what do? Well, I've taken certain action. Have those actions allowed me to sell 50 Rands worth of stuff? Well, if the answer is no, I've got to go back and say, okay. So are the actions I'm taking, am I making enough phone calls? Am I seeing enough prospects? Am I converting? Is my conversion ratio of my prospects into customers sufficient, right? So I've got to go and explore the actions that I'm taking to ensure that, well, the only way I can explore the actions I'm taking is I've got some kind of measurement criteria. So how often do you think you should measure your goals? Your sales target, for example, once a month? Once a quarter? I mean, what, do you get to the end of the first quarter and go, yay, that's scary stuff, I haven't achieved my target? Or do you have a look at it daily? Look, obviously, if the first day, I'm not too concerned. By the second day, I'm still checking out where I'm at. Listen, once a week's passed and you're not hitting your daily target, you really need to be concerned. You need to be saying, what do I need to do differently? How many more calls do I need to make? How many more prospects do I need to see? How much better do I need to research my prospects so that I qualify my prospects better? What do I need to do to improve my closing ratio, etc.? So I've got to be constantly asking questions, but I can only be asking questions when I have measurement criteria, when I have a time, an outcome, when that outcome should be achieved, and then I break it back realistically into, say, a daily target, and I measure my daily activities against that daily target. Well, am I taking the right actions, or aren't I taking the right actions, right? So let's go right back. We write our vision down. The next thing we do is we expand our vision. The third thing is the A in the wealth plan, which is absolute belief. Now, when I talk about absolute belief, what I'm actually saying is, as Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or think you can't, both ways, you're right. So do you believe it's possible for you to achieve your picture of possibility in the future? Because if you don't believe it's possible, it's not. So, I mean, let's explore, right? Roger Bannister, back in the 50s, right? He was running, or he was trying to run a sub 4-minute mile. Scientists said, guys, you do not have enough oxygen. You do not have enough fast twitch muscle fibers. There's not enough adenosine triphosphate in your muscles. It is physically impossible for a human being to run sub 4 minutes. And then Roger Bannister did. But he created a new paradigm, you see. He created a new belief system out there. And 6 weeks after Roger Bannister had run a sub 4-minute mile, 27 other people did it. Did they genetically morph, or did they just emotionally morph? Did they just believe because Roger Bannister had done it, it was now possible? Right now, there's another paradigm that is believed to never be able to be broken, right? It's the sub 2-hour marathon. Right now, scientists are saying it's very unlikely that anybody will ever run below 2 hours for the marathon. Currently, the record's sitting at about 2 hours and 2 minutes. What happens when the first person breaks 2 hours? Something miraculous is going to happen. All of a sudden, there'll be a new belief created out there. There'll be a new way of doing, of being. People will say, well, if someone else can run sub 2 hours, so can we. And that's what you need to do, is you need to create a belief. You need to create an empowering belief in yourself, a new paradigm, a new belief in yourself, a new belief in what's possible for you. Because when you believe, It's just another way that you light that fire in your belly. When I asked those super achievers that I interviewed, when I said to them, do you believe it's possible? Do you believe you can achieve those amazing things? I mean, when you shared your vision with me, when you poured out that picture, when you told me that story, it just seemed so remarkable. Do you think it's possible? Do you know what they, without fail, all of them literally did? Of course it is. Because if I don't have the abilities, the skills, the knowledge, I'll either go get it or I'll get someone who does to support me. You see, that's the kind of belief you need to have. You need to be 100%, or you need to believe, should I rather say, 100% in your ability to achieve. Because write your vision down, remember, expand your vision. You've got to have absolute belief. And how do you become or grow your belief in yourself? Well, that's where we come down to the L part, right? The L part is a commitment to lifelong learning. You know, when I spoke to all those super achievers, every one of them, do you know how many books they read on average a year? 60. Some of them way more, but on average they read 60 books a year. None of them spent less than 1 hour a day educating themselves. They would drive around in their cars listening to audiobooks. They would read books. In fact, when I was interviewing those super achievers, they were interviewing me. They were trying to see how much they could learn from me. How much time do you spend educating yourself? When last did you read an educational book? Do you drive around in your car listening to music or the radio? Or do you drive around in your car empowering yourself, listening to audios, to inspirational audios, to educational audios? Because that is going to help you to become better. Because as Jim Rohn said, you attract success by the person you become. As you become more, you attract more. Only way to become more is to grow your knowledge, your skills, your abilities. And the only way to grow your knowledge, skills and abilities is by reading books, attending courses, listening to audiobooks, learning from mentors, attending mastermind groups. You need to keep growing, expanding, becoming more. Think about yourself. Where are you right now, right? You're like a half full swimming pool. That half full swimming pool is who you are. Yes, for a moment you can win the lottery and you can walk over to the side of the pool and you can splash the water up and kind of achieve at this level. But what happens when you stop splashing? Right back down to the same level. 80% of the people who win the lottery in the United States have squandered or lost the money within 18 months. It's because they haven't put water in their swimming pool. So by learning, by educating yourself, by growing, by becoming more, you fill your swimming pool. As you fill your swimming pool, you become more, right? And that's who you are. And that's my commitment. And that was what amazed me about all those super achievers. All of them were committed to lifelong learning. What about you? So it's write your vision down. Expand your vision. Absolute belief. Lifelong learning. And T stands for the reason why. You see, you need to go. There's no shortcuts here, guys. You need to go and figure out what is your reason why you want to have, do, or be. Whatever it is you want to have, do, or be. Let me give you a story, a little analogy, right? Imagine if I took a plank like this big and I put it on the floor in front of you and I said to you, I'll give you $1,000 if you'll walk over that plank. Oh, please, everybody would take my 1,000 rand, right? Well, what about if I took that same plank? Do you know the Petronas Towers in Kuala Lumpur? 88 stories high. Imagine if I suspended that same plank between those two buildings and I said to you, for $1,000, would you walk across that plank now? I guarantee you wouldn't. What if I said to you, I bet you that you wouldn't walk across that plank once, you would run across it twice for free? Would you believe me? Imagine you're on this building, your child's on this building's on fire, the flames are licking at your child's feet. would you not run across that plank and save your child and run back to the other building? What changed? The only thing that changed was your reason why. You had a burning child on top of the building, right? And that's what I want you to go and get. I want you to go and find your deep-rooted passion, your deep-rooted reason why you want to be successful. And the reason you need that, you're going to encounter challenges. When you encounter challenges, note I didn't say if, I said when you encounter challenges. It's your deep-rooted, empowering reason why you want to be successful that is going to help you to get through the tough times. It's going to help you to get up in the morning and take action on those days, even when you don't want to. So what is your reason why? Go and answer those questions. Go through the process and figure out your reason why. Because if you can go through this entire process, like I've described it to you, like it's laid out in this module, you will become successful. Note, I said it's simple, but it's just not easy. And the not easy part is you just need to get off your butt and take on action. That's all you need to do. And then finally, go through it again. Write your vision down. Expand your vision. Absolute belief. Lifelong learning. The reason why. And finally, the H stands for your habits. Now you see, your habits are either guiding you to take the action you need to take, or they're holding you away from taking the action. For example, you could be procrastinating. You could be avoiding taking the most important actions every day. Those are the things holding you from your success. Have you ever driven your car? You get behind the wheel of your car and you drive. You get somewhere familiar and you go, how the heck did I get you? I don't even remember. Do you remember the first day when you started to drive your car? You battled with the clutch. You had to think about the accelerator, the steering, keeping the speed, flickers. Now you can drive from Johannesburg to Cape Town, maintain the speed, not even give the accelerator any conscious thought. You don't even think about the clutch. You don't think about the brake, right? Those are your habits in action. Now imagine if you could develop a set of sales success habits that allow you to take all the actions, or should I rather say, empower you to take all the actions that you need to take on a daily basis. You don't even need to give it any conscious thought. So you make the right amount of calls, you do the right amount of research, you see the right amount of customers, you see decision makers at the right businesses, you know how to get past gatekeepers, you do all the things that you need to do on a daily basis, almost on autopilot. Now those are your habits in action, right? So I want you to think about this. You got to think about, how can I go about developing, improving my habits? Now let's explore another analogy, right? Imagine there's a house and it's in the middle of a grassy field, and there's a grassy field all the way around it, and leading from this house are these brown, deep, rutted pathways. Now, if you keep walking on those pathways, right, your bad habits, your entrenched habits, they're never going to go away. So what have you got to do? Well, you've got to figure out new empowering habits, right? You need to start walking on new pathways, because as you walk on the new pathways, what's going to happen is those brown, deep, rutted pathways will eventually start to grow over and disappear. So habits aren't something you can just change, right? Habits are something you've got to take action on a regular basis, and slowly but surely you replace your bad habits with good habits. Now research shows that it takes about 66 days for you to perform an action, the same action at the same time of day, for you to replace a poor habit with a good habit. So let's explore this now. We've got to write our vision down. As we write our vision down, we program our reticular activating system. Our reticular activating system searches for all the resources. In other words, it focuses and only delivers the things to us that we need. For example, let's say your goal is to buy a well-priced residential properties in the Cape Town area. Now you could be standing in a room of 3,000 people. There's noise going on everywhere. But your reticular activating system is filtering and looking for reasonably priced domestic properties in the Cape Town area, and somebody 10 feet away from you mentions that they know of a great opportunity where you can buy reasonably priced residential properties in the Cape Town area. Your brain will focus in, it'll filter out all the other noise, and you will only hear that. So you need to write your vision down. Then you need to expand your vision. Why do we need to expand your vision? Well, your vision is only a direction. So it's only going to give you the way you need to go, but it's not going to give you the map. There's no blueprint, right? So as you expand your vision, you're creating a blueprint. In other words, goals, projects, actions. Your actions are things you're going to do on a daily basis, right? The next thing you're going to do is you're going to commit to believing in yourself, right? You need to be 100% convinced that what you're going to do is going to deliver on your dreams. Because why else would you get up in the day? Why else would you delay gratification unless you can actually see the benefit in the long run? So you've got to believe that what you're doing every day is delivering some kind of outcome. You see, how do you become, or how do you believe in yourself more? Remember, competence equals confidence. How do you become more competent? Well, you become more competent through learning, through growing your skills, right? So you need to commit to lifelong learning. You need to commit to keep growing, expanding, becoming more. And once you've learned and you've expanded and you've grown your confidence helps your belief. And then what you're going to be thinking about is you've got to figure out the reason why you want to be successful. Remember, we're looking for our burning child on top of the building. Why are you going to get up and take action? When, and I said when again, when those inevitable challenges come your way, it's your reason why. It's your reason why and your belief in yourself that's going to keep you taking those actions on a regular basis. And then finally, remember, when we were looking at expanding your vision, we created your goals, your projects, and the daily actions. Now remember, if you've got to take those daily actions and you're relying on your willpower, when last did you achieve a New Year's resolution? And why don't you achieve New Year's resolutions? Simply because of willpower. Willpower is a depletable resource, right? So if willpower is a depletable resource, what do we do to ensure that we take those actions consistently every day? Well, we create a behavior, which is the actions. We convert those actions into daily routines, and we use reminders to convince us, to remind us to keep taking those actions until those daily routines, after 66 days, become entrenched habits. Do you see how simple this process is? Yeah, it's not easy. It's not going to be easy. But I can guarantee you that if you prepare to go through the process, right? Start off by saying, what does success mean to me? Once you've defined what success means to you, figure out what your true life passion and purpose is. Once you've got that in place, then figure out and say, okay, so what do I need to do to help me to stop procrastinating? What do I need to do to not invest my time in instant gratification, to see how I can delay my gratification into the future? And then you need to say, what will it take if I follow the wealth plan? What do I need to do? Apply the wealth plan in your life, and success is guaranteed. And I'm going to say this one more time. Guys, it's simple, but it's just not easy. The easy part, or should I rather say what makes it tough, is because we have fear about the future. Because we doubt ourselves. Because we want instant gratification. Because we love pleasure in the moment and we don't want to have pain right now. And of course, taking action, not watching TV, is pain. And that's the only thing you got to do, is get past those things, take action, apply the wealth plan, and success is yours.